So, folks, this is an exciting opportunity here. We have some exclusive footage from the new film Killers of the Flower Moon that we're going to show for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. This is footage of Senator Elizabeth Warren at dinner getting interrupted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I made that mistake too.
I confused it, Yeah, I couldn't tell the difference. I get them mixed up all the time. So here's Senator Elizabeth Warren being confronted by a ceasefire protester. Let's get this from the sync because the subtitles move a little fast here. I'm a refugee from Gaza and I'm a constituent of yours.
Some water to get started. Of course, we have tap water. We also have butter.
68 members of my family killed over the last 5 weeks. I just want to
68 members family killed. Just want to know how many more have to die before we call for a ceasefire.
I mean, what do I have to do? How many more of my family have died from the call for a ceasefire? I don't know, like, how much more do I have to say to call for a ceasefire? People are in your office every day asking to call for a ceasefire. Family, you are blood on your hands! Shame!
Hell yeah.
Yep, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Blood doesn't live! Blood doesn't live! Blood doesn't live!
There you go. That's one. We got a couple more protest actions to show you. But if you notice, man, the Jose Vega model catching on a little bit. People are starting to do
what
this.
I think.
And everybody's staying peaceful and lawful,
That's how to do it.
That's how to do it.
With it, these people are your elected officials. They are not due any deference.
No. And nobody who's not calling for a ceasefire is entitled to a modicum of respect either. You don't have to be polite. It's not against the law to be rude. Don't be unlawful. Don't be violent, obviously.
Right.
But don't be afraid to be rude. Oh, man, I see one of these guys walking down. I can't. I mean, these guys are nice compared to what I've been saying.
Do you know how frustrating it is? Every time I've seen Anderson Cooper on the street, I've been leading a tour.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Motherfucker. God damn it.
All right, here we go. This next guy needs no introduction.
Do you have an answer? With respect, I'm curious what has stopped you so far with over 10,000 people killed so far.
Thank you.
What did he say?
Can I ignore my question?
What did he say? What was that?
What was that?
Sure. I think he said ceasefire now.
Yeah, that sounded like ceasefire to me. A second major Western politician to call for a ceasefire, John Fetterman of the great state of Pennsylvania. She stuck on him for a while. You're going to ignore my question?
Right before Veterans Day.
Thank you.
You don't have an answer for why you won't call for a ceasefire in one of the most serious civilian massacres of our lifetimes? As a senator?
I don't know. I don't know.
You should be protesting Hamas.
I think you should be protesting Hamas.
Why don't you do that and be protesting until we get the hostages back?
Yeah.
That's my opinion, and I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
So let's just call it that then.
Right, except for I deployed to the war in Afghanistan where we said the same logic about the Taliban. And my government isn't funding Hamas, but my government
She doesn't have to be
is
staffed.
funding the bombs that are killing
She's not doing anything.
in
Are
Gaza
you
every
staff?
day.
I know, like I said.
Well, I'm an American citizen, so I'm protesting what my
you see-
government is doing, and you...
What?
That cop thought like he should do something, but he can't really. I mean, you have a right to go out. She's not assaulting him. She's not touching him.
No, she's asking him questions. And this is why it's good to have someone bring a camera, because now the cop knows that they can't just drag you out of there if they're on camera.
Exactly. Always have a camera when things like this are happening. If you saw in the cowbell video, the woman with the cropped hair who walks in, she was trying to build a case for harassment. You're in my space.
That Russell was getting in her
But
space.
I had her on camera approaching me.
Right.
If you don't have her on camera, oh, this guy, he's harassing me.
Yeah, he just came up to us and wouldn't leave us alone no matter what. And, exactly. So she keeps going.
You make decisions for my government.
Very good, then.
And you don't care that 10,000 people have been killed, that 4,000 children have been killed?
Yeah.
That's okay with you?
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess we have our answer.
I mean, Pennsylvania, I'm sorry. Our friend, I think Jake is from Pennsylvania, a producer. He's from near East Palestine, Ohio. I forget which side of the state line you're on. Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania. It came down to between that guy and Dr. Oz. Those are the two people you choose to have
I mean, but
represent you in your state.
what can we say? We're gonna have a fucking other election between Trump and Biden if the people get their way.
This guy can't talk. I mean, this guy can't.
No, he's
do the
clear.
job.
He's clearly brain damaged.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, clearly. I mean, you saw that when the other protester got pushed out, confronted him, and he didn't even answer. He didn't even say anything.
No.
You could see that, like, he wasn't really able to process what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you go protest Hamas? Okay. With 4,000 dead children? Okay.
Well, and she said, my government isn't funding Hamas.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right? The
You
Israeli
protest your
government is.
Yeah.
The Israeli government funds
The
Hamas.
Israeli government funded Hamas. Right, exactly. Last but not least, we won't get to see Joe Biden here, but this was a crowd that gathered outside of Joe Biden's Delaware home. Very, very big crowd of protesters marching to his house.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
See, we have a good amount of speakers here today.
So, you know, we've said it before, but we really feel a need to highlight these protest actions as often as possible because, you know, Russell, you said you have not seen anything like this in a very long time. We haven't seen any anti-war action like this in a very long time. And I have a feeling this is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Whereas the Iraq War protests were large, but they didn't last that long. They didn't go on for months and months.
There hasn't been anything. Yeah, there hasn't been anything like this since Vietnam.
Yeah.
The Iraq War protests, most people were for the Iraq War. It wasn't comparable. There was a sizable amount of dissent.
That's very
But it
true.
wasn't like this, where there's this total breakdown between the establishment furiously trying to make this a conversation about anti-Semitism, and the great mass of people just absolutely refusing to have it. You saw this from the beginning, and you're seeing, as I thought was going to happen, as the atrocities become harder and harder to argue against. Even Zionists, I know, man, most of them have shut the fuck up. Like, they were not coming out as much as you would have expected from the beginning, and now only the most hardcore are still saying anything publicly, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, Jake says in the private chat, he says, I'm from Western PA. Yeah, go fuck yourself. I've angered our producer. But no, I mean, it's amazing to see. We're seeing it everywhere. We're seeing people all across the country just really take action.
Exactly, Tusker.
Yep. Closer to Vietnam. Indeed. Because that's a good point that you made, and I didn't think of that, but that's actually a very, very relevant point. That Iraq, you had a lot of dissents, but it was concentrated in areas that were mostly blue areas because most of the people who were against that war happened to be Democrats, and even then, most Democrats were for it. 70% of the American people supported the Iraq War when it started, whereas now it's the complete opposite. 66% of voters across the board support a ceasefire. So I think part of the reason why you're seeing more protests that are growing at larger paces and are seemingly set to sustain themselves over a longer period of time is because the ceasefire movement just represents a greater share, far greater share, really double the share of the American public that the anti-Iraq sentiment enjoyed.
Right. You had some big protests, but it was not a general opinion.
Right.
Most people were frighteningly on board with it and willing to bow their heads to the Bush administration. You had a few voices of dissent here and there, but not many.
Please clap.